We're just starting November, which means it's James Bond month. Today I want to talk about James Bond's first screen appearance. This happened in 1954 as an American dramatic anthology series known as Climax gave us the first screen adaptation of James Bond with Casino Royale. Now, Casino Royale was the first Bond book by its author and creator, Ian Fleming, and it was adapted again, of course, by Daniel Craig many years later, which I'll get to later this month. There's also a 1967 film called Casino Royale, which is a non-canonical Bond film, which I'll also get to much later. Now, I've been told that this episode of this series did appear in color, but it was discovered like in 1981, and since it was the Kinescope edition, apparently we only have this monochromatic version of this. And I just found it on YouTube. Maybe you can watch it there. And I find it odd that they named the character Jimmy Bond, and they made him American. He works for the Combined Intelligence Agency, like the CIA. They also switched the nationality of Felix Leiter, who's an American who appears many times in the Bond movies and books. In this particular Casino Royale black and white thing, he's Clarence Leiter, and he's the British one. Okay, this particular dramatic episode opens with Bond and Leiter meeting to discuss the villain of the story, Le Chiffre. The plan is that Bond will play Le Chiffre at Baccarat, and then totally bankrupt him, which would cause Le Chiffre's superiors to eventually just kill him off. Bond then meets Le Chiffre's girlfriend named Valerie Mathis, and I think this is supposed to be the Vesper Lynd character from the original and later adapted work. Bond apparently used to date Miss Mathis in this particular version. So Bond manages to defeat Le Chiffre at Baccarat, but Le Chiffre is a sore loser, and he has 3 bodyguards that abduct Bond. Now Le Chiffre plans to torture Bond until he gives up the winnings for the night, but Bond, he doesn't budge. Bond manages to fight his way out, but Le Chiffre holds Mathis hostage with some laser blades he keeps on him. This ends with a typical happy ending with a dramatic music, as Bond does save Mathis. The 1954 Casino Royale isn't too bad, and it clocks in about under an hour. It's definitely the spirit of the time. It should be known that the actor that plays Bond, Barry Nelson, is the first to actually ever do it. And as much information as I have on his career, this seems to be his big badge of honor. Now, the man who plays Le Chiffre is the famous Peter Lorre, and he has a very unique style. Fans of Ren and Stimpy might recognize it right away. Now, Valerie Mathis is played by Linda Christian, who has had a lot of roles, but she has the unique badge of honor as being the first Bond babe. I'm guessing that Fleming's work were popular at the time to get this attention of Hollywood to make this adaptation. But the fact they Americanized James Bond and made him Jimmy, that's a rough start.